Seeker. This lore is sponsored by George Soros.
Alright, what topic do we want to discuss today, fellas?
I think we should talk about Group 601.
That's a good topic. I like that topic. That's the best topic.
Thanks, I just thought of it.
Alright, so Group 601. Bit of lore surrounded in mystery since the early days of the COD Zombie storyline. Nobody really knows what they were.
You probably have never heard about it unless you're really old like we are.
Kind of a more niche topic because there's like nothing surrounding them, more or less. Really, you only get them in like news clippings and all that. But where this really begins is Doris, and specifically on the co-op version in the loading screen, where it usually says Group 935, you have Group 601 instead.
Am I tweaking? Is 601 the broken arrow thing, the thing that turned into broken arrow, or is that the thing with no, that's in Group 9.
I mean,
Division 9 is the Japanese one.
This is Division.
Yeah.
601 is the thing that turned into broken arrow, no? Or am I tweaking?
No, 601 is, I don't
Is it the
know
one
if it's
with the
canonic
big
or
ass
concept
nuke?
in the current story.
It's not. It's like non-canon, but like conceptually, kind of.
Conceptually, the concepts behind it made it basically got integrated into the 935, but Division 9, Broken Arrow.
Yeah. Group 601 after Doris kind of falls off a cliff, but you get a little bit of it in Black Ops 1 with some images you can find of. I can't even remember where it's found, but like there's this image of the two pylons with a mushroom cloud in the middle, and it says Group 601 NZR, which is Nazi Zombie Radio. That's the most common like speculative thing about it. And it says in German, strength through order. And really, that's like all you get. There's other images too in Black Ops 1, but you wouldn't really associate those with Group 601 until way later on. But the most common fan theories around 601 is that this is the original name for Group 935, which I think that's wrong, and we're going to get into that right now. So, in 20...
No, we're not. Because I'm about to throw a curveball, actually, and real quick, there was one other popular theory at the time, and it got popular in like 2019 specifically, around like BO3 time and BO4 stuff. People like to think that 601 was a faction within 935 that was led by Richtofen.
There is a sub-faction in 935 led by Richtofen, but I don't know if we're ever given a name for them.
That's why they thought it was 601. People started connecting it to that because it's been so long without any like more stuff.
You guys ever think it's funny how they put Iron Crosses in Moon in Blood and Zombies Chronicles, even though there's no reason to? It makes no sense. Why'd they do that?
I don't know. Anyway, Quad, go ahead.
I mean, as a theory, that I've never heard that one, but that makes sense, I guess. Like, I can see why people would think that. But in 2020, an art station was found detailing and releasing a ton of cut content around 601, specifically for the Kino der Toten projector slides. There's a ton of these. I'll probably link to it in the description or throw a bunch of them on screen right now. But there's the mushroom cloud image. There's a version of it that has like no text on it at all. It's just the mushroom cloud, two pylons. There's a ton of stuff with Max's, his face. The one with his face on it was actually in Black Ops 1, but like there was just no way to link it to zombies because it was literally just a picture of his guy's face. There's a ton of stuff like with him surrounded like the teleporter. There's stuff for that radio and Doris talking about the canceled giant project. There's literally a giant robot next to him and Doris in one of the images.
Origins reference.
But these slides would play on the projector in Kino. And it was basically like they kind of reveal what 601 really was. And what that is they were focused on brainwashing the zombies into obedience. That way they could be used by the Nazis.
Which is kind of what I mean when I say like how they incorporated some of that stuff into 935's lore later, because that aspect was incorporated in 935's lore in the later games. Yeah.
So basically 935, and you got a lot of this earlier on, especially in World of War and Doris, or not Doris, Black Ops 1, I mean. Where like 935 were amassing the zombie army. Meanwhile, 601, a different group entirely, would brainwash them into obedience. So as two groups shooting for the same goal, what I think happened is they realized how redundant that was to make those two different groups. And they just merged that in with 935. Which you get in Kino in the map with Max is doing the stuff with Subject 26.
And even with the Call of the Dead lore, with like the super soldier program. You could see it as an extension of that, just applied to like living humans instead of zombies.
Exactly, yeah. So, like, as a concept, it was cut from the lore, but conceptually it lives on through Group 935's goes. Never really went anywhere with 935 specifically, but whenever they moved to the United States via Operation Stapler, whenever they got all their resources and scientists, you kind of get that again where Dr. Lehman, through the orders of Samantha's corruption, forces a captive, I can't remember who it was, or if he even goes into it really, but like forces them to inhale 115. And it creates a completely obedient zombie for the first time ever.
115 inhalation, not even once.
I think conceptually that was, if it makes sense why they never did anything with it, and they just kind of like basically made it cease to exist. Really, besides that whole art station stuff that leaked out. Not really a leak, more of just someone showing off their work.
You can find a ton of cool zombie shit on ArtStation.
It feels like when they had their go at another group that does Le Science and Le Zombie Control and Le Evil Experiments, they had like progressively better iterations of it. I'd say even though Group 935 was kind of the original and Group 601 was also kind of the original with what they were going for, I think their real stride was with Broken Arrow.
Truth Nuke?
Like, we even saw a little bit of the Division 9 stuff during like the progression and how it was with, I guess the Division 9 like peak of it was, I guess, Zetsubo, kind of with the whole stuff that happened with Takio.
Yeah. They put that man in the spider cave.
But I'd say they hit their stride with Broken Arrow and what they were doing. And man, we're gonna have one of these episodes eventually where we're just gonna talk about Alpha Omega and just how insane of a bomb that whole map was for just all the lore heads.
The Alpha Omega episode will change the game. Yeah, when you bring up like stuff like 601, where it's more a case of like something that was conceived for the story, but then kind of written out of it, eventually you're gonna start yapping about like concept shit related to it. There's a lot of ideas that get like iterated in different ways over the series.
Conceptually, like we said, this goes into stuff with the MK Alpha, Broken Arrow, what Group 935 were doing with Subject 26 and whatnot, and in other areas of the game, like the archetypes, stuff like that. Because really, mind control in zombies, it's the origin of that kind of topic in Call of Duty in general. It came from zombies.
Yeah, which has been a part of everything Ferric has done in some form since like the World at War campaign.
Yeah. Like, this stuff predates Black Ops campaign, talking about all this MK Ultra stuff and whatnot. Like, in Verrupt, I think that's like the ultimate origin of it, because when you turn on the power switch, you have like, it's literally Wittenau Sanatorium, electroshock therapy, you turn on power, all these numbers start rattling off. It's like a programming thing. It's like the origin of that conceptually.
Yeah.